Dr. Rochelle Marie, how are you doing today?
Listen, how are you?
Great. It's great to have you in our podcast today, and we really know your time and insight you're going to share today. So thank you very much for coming to our podcast.
You're very welcome.
Welcome to Phoebe Podcast, where we explore leadership, entrepreneurship, personal growth, wellness, and people creating extraordinary impact around the world. I'm your host, Phoebe. Today, I'm excited to welcome Dr. ROCHEL MARIE LAWSON. She is the founder of Blissful Living for You, CEO of All Day Cable Incorporation, an Ayurveda health practitioner, best-selling author, coach, and a host of Blissful Living podcast. For more than 3 decades, she has helped individuals transform lives through holistic wellness, personal development, financial empowerment, and the timeless wisdom of Ayurveda. She is the author of multiple best-selling books, including Intro to Holistic Health Ayurveda Style, 365 Days of Affirmation for a Year of Bliss, and The Unstoppable Woman Manifestation. Doctor, you're welcome to our podcast.
Thank you.
Doctor, your journey has taken you from nursing to entrepreneurship, coaching, Ayurveda, and media. Tell us about the path that led you here.
So my journey has been quite a different journey. Started the first woman-owned, minority-owned telecommunications installation company in the United States back in 1990, while also working as a nurse with background in emergency room trauma nursing and flight nursing. That's what I was doing at the time.
Wow.
And never had any idea that my journey would take me to where I am today, but it just kind of started. I opened a holistic spa in Northern California that led me to go to conferences, that opened up opportunities for me to meet people that could push me out front and center. So I got to speak on some really big stages, some very well-known people in the industry, and got my first podcast back in 2010, and I still have that podcast today. And so I think it's just being out there and being front and center and meeting and connecting with people has opened up a lot of opportunities that I've never would have even imagined or envisioned for myself today. So it's just been a great journey.
Awesome. That's very good. So again, what inspired your passion for helping people heal and transform their lives?
I think what inspired my passion was my own journey with my health and well-being. I suffered for 17 years, beginning when I was 8 years old, with a undiagnosed digestive abdominal disorder that could never be diagnosed, even though I grew up in the Silicon Valley, so in the Bay Area, and was going to Stanford probably, I don't know, maybe every week, because I was struggling with my stomach pain. With that journey, that 17-year journey, and then once I became a nurse working in emergency room trauma, I just felt that the divine had placed me in a place where I would be most useful to people that were suffering, and probably because of my own journey with suffering. So yeah, it just seemed like a natural fit. I'm really good at looking at people, and I have an intuitive gift where I can look at people and tell how sick they are, what they have, what the problem is, even if it's not evident at the time they present to the doctor. So yeah, I think it's just divinely given and divinely guided.
Was there a defining moment that shifted your perspective on success?
The defining moment for me was when my telecommunications installation company made the top 50 women-owned businesses in Silicon Valley
Awesome.
in the 90s. And that just spoke volumes, because we're just, we're still a small company, but we're just a small company diving into the world of telecommunications. And to be able to get that recognition among women that were 100,000 times more successful than me,
Yeah.
just made it just so real.
How has your personal definition of success evolved over the years?
When I was younger, I used to think success meant making a lot of money, having a big house, driving a fancy car, wearing the finest clothes, and, but in reality, it has evolved. Success to me is being healthy in your mind, body, and spirit, because when you're healthy in your mind, body, spirit, and emotional body, you can transform and do anything you want to do. And there's no barriers to what you can't accomplish when you're healthy and well. So that is what I define as success, being healthy and well, and then transitioning that healthy and well attitude into my businesses and into elevating people's life who I come across that may need some aspect, whether it's my knowledge about business or my knowledge about, medicine or my knowledge about Ayurveda, or how to incorporate that all into their life so that they can be healthy and well and super successful. I think that's what it means for me.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. Makes sense. So you eventually created a movement centered around what you call blissful living.
Yeah.
Founded blissful living for you around the pillar of wealth, wisdom, and wellness. Why those three pillars?
Because what I discovered over my years of being a nurse, and I'm still a licensed nurse, been a nurse for 36 years, is that people think that when they have wealth, it can be healthy and well, and that's not the case. I've taken some, being a nurse in Silicon Valley, I've taken care of some of the most wealthiest people in the world when it comes to people living in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And one of my patients was ultra wealthy, an innovator of technology that we utilize today. But when I saw him as a patient, he was dying. And we had this really long conversation, and just a really beautiful conversation. And I thought, oh my God, this guy's got more money than anybody. And he was admiring me because he said I was radiant, youthful, and I didn't look my age, and I was healthy. And so what he told me was, I have all the money in the world. I won't even be able to spend this money before I die, because he was dying. But he said, but if I could be as healthy and well and as radiant and as vibrant and energetic and youthful as you, that to me is the epitome of being wealthy.
Wow.
And so when I heard that, it just kind of sat with me, and I began thinking, how can I help people to understand that you can have all the money in the world, but if you're not healthy and well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I began incorporating that wisdom into helping people to have that wellness so that they can have the wisdom and the wealth in their lives that they desire.
That's very good. So how do wisdom, wellness, and wealth work together?
So they're pillars that are built upon each other. So in order for you to have well-being, you have to have the wisdom to understand when you're out of balance or when you need assistance with your health and well-being. And so once you are able to step out of all the chaos that the world projects upon us 24/7 and understand that there are components within you that need to be addressed and that need to be nurtured and loved, it starts foundationally with your physical well-being, your mental well-being, and then it transcends to your spiritual and emotional well-being. And when you have that, then you actually have the wisdom to be able to manage your wealth that falls in alignment with your natural tendencies and your natural way that you ebb and flow in the world. So wellness, wisdom, and wealth, even though it sounds cliche, it's not, because if any of those three are missing, are not balanced in a state that can hold capacity, can't have success in those other areas.
Yeah,
so they're built upon each other. It's like a pyramid. One corner is wealth, one corner is wisdom, and one corner is well-being. And if one of those corners are sinking, the whole pyramid is going to be in chaos.
Yeah, it makes sense. So what are the biggest obstacles preventing people from living their dream lives?
Their physical well-being. The physical well-being. I think when you're challenged with your health and well-being, your physical health and well-being, meaning you have heart condition or diabetes or kidney failure, or, a gamut of things, respiratory issues, whenever you're challenged in that area, it really does prevent you from standing out and walking that path to do the greatest things that you could possibly do. Because your energy is diverted to to the challenges that you're having with your health and well-being. So health and well-being is the key to success in everything. And yes, there are many people out in the world that are not healthy and are very successful. But if you talk to them, the component or the issue or the recurring thing that always comes up is, if I didn't have this condition, I could do so much more. And some of these people have more money than they'll ever be able to spend, but they understand that if they're not healthy and well in their mind, body, spirit, then they can't really enjoy life. And life is really meant for us to enjoy. And so that's the essence that is the missing component in some of the most wealthiest people in the world.
So let's look at the power of Ayurveda. For listeners unfamiliar with Ayurveda, what is Ayurveda and why has it endured for thousands of years?
So Ayurveda is a holistic medical modality that originated in India, and they say somewhere between 3,500 to 7,000 years ago. It's the utilization of what God has put here on our planet to help us be healthy and well. And it's really pretty simple. Once you have identified what your natural tendencies are and where your imbalances are, then you can utilize the essences of Ayurveda to restore that health and well-being and balance within yourself. So it does address mind, body, spirit, and emotional well-being. And, it comes along with the chakra systems and, the energy where your energetic flow is around you and in you and extending out of you. So there's several components that make it up, but it's a beautiful holistic medical modality that goes very well with Western medicine. It's just finding the right person that has the knowledge that can guide you both with Western medicine and help you to integrate Ayurvedic practices into your life so that you can have that beautiful health and well-being that you desire.
Okay, that's very good. So what attracted you to Ayurveda health practice?
It goes back to that 17-year journey that I had within my own health and well-being. And over that course of that journey, I was doing everything holistic. I don't eat fast food. I stopped when I was about 13 years old. I would save my money and get massages because after I had a massage, I always felt really good. Did detoxifications. I still do them. So it was a journey for me. And within that 17-year journey, the essence of it at the end was these are what you need to do in order to be healthy and well. And once you go through these things, you will be healthy and well. So it was like I birthed a baby, but the baby at birth was the illness that was creating very bad havoc inside of me.
That's great. So what are doshas and why are they so important?
And the three main doshas in Ayurveda are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and they're all comprised of the elements. So Vata is air and ether, Pitta is fire, and Kapha is earth and water. People could go to my website, Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com, and take the dosha quiz to find out what their natural uniqueness is in the world and to get some guidance and tips and wisdom on how to keep that natural uniqueness in balance. Because once it becomes out of balance, then you open up the doorway for illness and disease to come in, and we don't want that. Recognizing when you're out of balance. So many times people will be stressed and they'll say, they'll say they're not stressed. They discount a lot of stuff until they can no longer discount it, and it starts screaming loud within them that they have to pay attention to. And so it's just really recognizing your natural tendencies and treating yourself with love, care, and kindness first before you do anything else for anybody else. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, you cannot say and give the love to those that you love and care about that you really want to. It's a broken capacity. So once you're healthy and well, you can go out and go like gangbusters and be a change agent for the world.
Yeah, awesome. So what simple Ayurvedic practice can anyone start implementing today?
So one simple thing you can do is, this is very basic, it's very simple. When you get up in the morning, before you get your coffee, your tea, whatever, get a glass of warm water with some fresh squeezed lemon juice or some lemon essential oil drops placed in that water, and drink that water. What that does is, first of all, it prepares your body and it awakens your body. It awakens your liver, so it wakes up your liver to begin the whole detoxification and digestive processes that your liver is responsible for. It gets your gut ready, your digestive system ready for what it needs to do when you wake up in the morning, so that when you take in food, you're not having all kind of discomforts. And it really is nourishing to your inner self, your soul, your cells, your blood, everything. So just doing that simple lemon and water in the morning before you take anything else can be a real game changer with regards to your weight management and your digestive issues that you may have. That's just very simplified, though.
Yeah, I think my next question has also been answered, but still, let me go ahead and ask it. How does Ayurveda complement modern medicine?
Ayurveda is complementary to modern medicine because modern medicine is focused on treating the signs and symptoms of the disease, right? And so modern medicine, they treat the signs and symptoms. You go to a doctor, you got indigestion, they're gonna give you a prescription for indigestion. If you got palpitations in your heart, they're gonna do some test studies. Hopefully they do an EKG and all of that, and they'll give you some medication for that.
Yeah.
If your kidneys are not operating at full capacity, they'll give you medication for that. Ayurveda takes a look at what's causing the imbalance. And once you get rid of the cause of the imbalance, then you don't need to treat the signs and symptoms. You actually begin to treat the essence. So if it's your kidneys, and you actually begin to give your kidneys the nourishment, natural herbs and nourishment that they need to, help to regenerate the kidney flow. Now, it's not it's not focused on the signs and symptoms. It's actually focused on the root cause of the disease. And so the combination of using Western medicine and Eastern or Ayurvedic medicine can be very, very beneficial for the clients and the patients. I've seen it. I've had patients come back to me in the middle of my night shift and tell me that what I shared with them during the time that I was their nurse taking care of them made a huge difference in their life. They feel better. They're on less medications. They're where they couldn't walk them, 20 steps. Now they can walk a half a mile without getting short of breath. And they have more clarity. They're able to handle the stress better. There's so many beneficial things. So they're both very complementary to each other. It's just finding that right person that knows the two and that can blend and create a beautiful plan for you so that you can be healthy and well.
Awesome. That's very great. So let's go to the next one. You successfully led all-day cable business while also building a wellness brand. What have you learned about creating wealth?
You have to have multiple revenue streams. So I learned this from one of the gals that she was the number one business owner she was the top 50. Wow. She was number one out of the top 50 women business owners those years back. And she said, you have to operate like the ultra wealthy. They don't have one stream of revenue. They have multiple streams of revenue that come in. So having multiple streams of revenue is the key to building your wealth, but also having the wisdom to create those multiple streams is key as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, the next question is, what money belief holds people back?
Scarcity, the scarcity mindset. Scarcity mindset. If you have a scarcity mindset, you can't have fruitfulness coming into your life. Because if you're always thinking you don't have enough, there's not enough, somebody took your stuff, whatever, you're never, ever going to be able to attract the abundance that you desire. So the number one thing I would say is to get rid of the scarcity mindset. No one can do what you do in the world. No, people can have the same. There's nurses. Like I worked in the emergency department. I had other nurses working with me, but the way we approached our patients were completely different.
Yeah.
Most of the time got the same outcome, but just know that nobody can do what you do like you do it. Even if you're a teacher. Teachers, there's thousands and thousands of teachers, but they all have their own style. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
right.
Just don't have that scarcity mindset and don't think just because somebody else wrote a book about podcasting that was a bestseller that you can't write a book about podcasting and have it be a bestseller.
Yeah, awesome. That's very good. So what leadership lesson have helped you succeed in business?
Always pay attention to your intuition. If you pay attention to your intuition will never lead you astray. And I've had the school of hard knocks with this where I didn't pay attention to my intuition and it cost thousands and thousands of dollars in my business. And so paying attention to your intuition, if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. You can investigate a little bit more as to what's off or whatever and see if you can correct it. But if something doesn't feel right, it's not right. If you see a cat walking down the street and it's got black and white stripes, or black and it's black and orange stripes like the Cincinnati Bengals, something ain't right. That may not be a cat. You know what I mean? So approach it carefully or run the other way. But there's always these indicators. It's just us being in tune with our unique self. Again, going back to your dosha and how you respond to everything in life. And when you have that wisdom and you tie into your intuition, just know your intuition will never, ever lead you wrong.
Okay, that's awesome. So let's go back. Let's go to Unstoppable Woman. You recently released Unstoppable Woman Manifesto. What inspired this book?
The inspiration of this book was particularly personal for me because in the book, there's 12 distinct disciplines that the most successful women in the history of the world utilize to command their empires, whether it's business or their empire. And so I take it all the way back to Queen Nefertiti, who she's actually on the cover of the book. But Queen Nefertiti was the queen of ancient Egypt along with Akhenaten. And they decided they were going to change religion from many gods to one God. Okay. How did she do that? How did she ebb and flow when they were really basically, that's like telling people there ain't no God. You know what I mean? People would be going all up in evil in today's world. Like, what do you mean there ain't no God, right? But how did she navigate that? And they navigated successfully during her husband's reign, the king's reign. And then, there's Oprah and there's Sheryl Sandberg and there's so many other women in the book that I just utilize the wisdom and the information that they share with what had led them on their path to success. and created these 12 disciplines. And when you follow the 12 disciplines of the most successful queens and business women in the world, you will understand why they're successful, and you will understand and actually have guidance for you to help you along your journey to be successful in whatever it is, whether you're a teacher or you're a student or you're a business owner or you're a multi-million-dollar billionaire business owner. You will have the tools to guide you to keep you strong in your strength moving forward with creating what you desire in life. Surround yourself with, I want to say good people, but I guess I will say surround yourself with people, for one, who are where you want to be. So you don't want to hang out with, if you want to be an 8-9 figure business owner, you don't want to hang out with a 6-figure business owner, okay? Because a 6-figure business owner has skills for 6-figure business owners. They don't have the skills that it takes to that moment in time to become a 9-figure business owner. So hang out with people you aspire to be. Told me the same things. Hang out with the people that can take you to places that you can't get in without them. Learn from those people how they do business. Learn what they do on their spare time. Learn and absorb as much wisdom and information as you can from those people. And also, these people are so willing to mentor you. We don't know that because we don't ask it. So if you have somebody that you admire in business that is doing something that you aspire to get to, reach out to them.
Awesome. That's very good. So what role does self-care play in sustainable success?
You have to take care of yourself first before you do anything else. There's a reason why they say put your oxygen mask on first before you help others, because you have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of anybody else. But us women, we do it so opposite. We take care of our kids, our husband, our mama, our daddy, and then wonder why we don't have time in the day to take care of ourselves. If you reverse that, take care of yourself first, then you still have the time to take care of your kids, your mama, your daddy, and those that you love and care about without sacrificing your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. So take care of yourself first.
I agree. So let's look at the power of affirmation. Your book, 365 Days of Affirmation for a Year of Bliss, has resonated with many readers. Why are affirmations so powerful?
I think affirmations is almost like it's a hypnotizing of the mind. If you affirm something, you're claiming it here and today, right? Like I affirmed, I'm going to be on Phoebe's podcast, right? And so here I am today. I'm on your podcast. But if you affirm something, it stays in the forefront of your mind. But in my book, I take it a bit deeper because you can affirm something and never do anything about it. And it's like a wish. But if you affirm something and then you make an intent to make whatever you're affirming happen a reality, then you've taken it to the next step, because then you've taken it from being just a thought in your mind to be an action in your day. And then you become unstoppable.
That's very good, and I like that. So can affirmation actually change behavior and outcomes?
It can. But again, you have to do the affirmation and then set an intention. So for instance, like if you say, oh, I'm going to lose, I'm claiming this. I'm going to lose 25 pounds by the end of September. Well, you can say that all day long, but if you don't do nothing about it, right? You're not. But if you say, I'm gonna lose 25 pounds by September, and this is what I intend to do about that. I'm gonna stop eating so much sweets and all that. Then it becomes more of a reality, and you start to see things transform as you keep affirming what you want to do in your life, and then taking the action by having that intention.
That's great. So what affirmation has had the greatest impact in your own life?
I'm a queen.
Okay.
I am a queen. So when I was a little girl growing up, I grew up around a bunch of boys. So all my cousins were boys. I was the only granddaughter. And they used to tease me. I was a little skinny girl, but I was tough. And so I used to say, one day I'm a princess, but one day I'm gonna grow up and be a queen.
Awesome.
Look at me laugh, right? And I'm just, so here's a funny thing. I just, years go and you forget. I know I was called princess and all of that, but you forget. And then I stepped into one conference. This was back in 2010. And these ladies that are my friends today, I didn't know them really. And they said, oh, yeah, we see you. You are always looking so fabulous. So they came up with the name, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous. And that is when I got my crown. Because I was like, it took me back to when I was that little sassy, bad girl. And, I'm going to be a queen. I'm going to grow up and be a queen. And so, like, hey,
It comes to life.
I grew up and I became a queen.
Okay, I like that. So let's look at your Blissful Living podcast. What inspired you to launch it?
It was really interesting. Back in 2010, it was podcast was like, what is that, right?
Yeah.
But these guys sent me an email and asked me if I wanted to be a podcast hostess, and I said sure. I didn't know what it was, but the podcast I had was 30 minutes once a month. And
Okay.
that 30-minute podcast actually was the creation of my very first best-selling little book, which was all about Ayurveda, little book. And so that's just kind of how it happened. Yeah, and then as I grew, it took it further. And then I've interviewed some very famous people, some very wealthy people, regular people all around the world on this podcast. Some might see on TV.
Wow.
It just kind of came. And sometimes when you have an opportunity that just seems like, what? That might be the key for you to say yes to, particularly if it's not hurting anybody or anything like that, right? But that might be the key that you say yes to. And had not said yes, I probably wouldn't have had that first book, and I still wouldn't have a podcast for the last 16 years where I've interviewed, like I said, famous, non-famous people really doing wonderful things in the world, and just, all men, women, all kind of people. So it's just been a beautiful journey. I think the reoccurring theme for success and happiness is, again, I might sound selfish, but you have to put yourself first. If you're unhappy, you have to analyze why you're unhappy, because no one can make you happy but yourself. Happiness lives internally within you, right? So if you think because I used to do this, I'm not feeling too good, I'm gonna go shopping. Well, then I have this big old credit card bill, you know what I mean? And then I'm still unhappy. So it has to start from within, and you have to identify what is in you internally that is causing you to be unhappy. And sometimes you have to take a real hard look and peel back the layers of that onion and get to that root cause. It may not be pretty, and most times it's not going to be pretty, but once you get to the root cause of it, then you can begin your healing journey of transformation from being unhappy to happy, and go through those steps from being, that broken soul to being that soul that's now living freely and divinely. So yeah, it's peeling back those layers that we put upon ourselves over the years, that we forget what's really in the middle of those layers that's keeping us in a situation we may not want to be in, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Awesome. So beyond wellness and success, your work is really about healing. Many people are searching for purpose today. Why do you think purpose feel elusive for so many?
Because I think they're so onto the internet and looking at TikTok and all these different things. And so when they see somebody else doing something that seems simplistic and it appears that they have a lot of success, then they try that. Or they see something else and then they try that. And it's just stay off the internet. Stay off the social media sites. You can make yourself appear to be any way you want to on a social media site. And if the person doesn't really know you, or people don't really know you, you can have them believing that you're that person when really you're not. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it. I know people. I'm like, she ain't doing that. You know what I mean? Or he ain't doing that. He don't really live like that. So stay off social media or those social media sites. And the other thing, stop comparing yourself to everybody. Your journey is your journey alone. You have a conversation with the divine, and the divine will tell you everything you need to know about your journey, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. But don't compare yourself to what you see on social media, because if you do, you'll always feel like you're 2 steps behind, or you're not good enough, or you're not pretty enough, or you're not fat enough, you don't have enough money, whatever case may be. And that's not reality.
Yeah, I agree with that. So what role does healing play in personal transformation?
You can't transform if you're not healed.
Yes.
So think about the lady who was running down the road. She fell. She skinned her knee, and she thought she just hurt her knee, but actually she broke her kneecap. Okay. But yet she keeps wanting to run because she wants to lose all this weight. Well, she can't run.
Yeah.
Right. So but she keeps going out there and she keeps falling down. She keeps going out there and she's in a tremendous pain. She keeps going out there, and all it's doing is making a cycle of where she feels she's not good enough and she's not successful. And pretty soon that burden of not feeling good enough and not successful lays heavy on her to the point where she just gives up. She doesn't take care of the things she needs to do, which is the injury to the knee. And
Yeah.
so because she hasn't taken care of the injury to the knee, she can't transform her body to be what she desires it to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. So what does inner bliss actually feels like?
An orgasm. All day, every day, all day long, every day. You see those walking down, you see those women sometimes you drive up, you're driving on the road. You see that you look in the next car and that person just got a big old smile on their face. Probably some inner bliss going on there. Now she on the phone, they on the phone talking to somebody, but it really does. It really does. So if you want to have that kind of experience where you just sit like, I'm gonna take a break from the computer, just feel my inner bliss. And people walk by like, why you got that smile on your face? It's my inner bliss. But all you have to know in your mind is, God, it feels like a good orgasm.
Okay, let's stop it there. So how can someone reconnect with their authentic self?
Reconnect with the authentic self. You got to shed the layers that been put upon you by others. And when I say that, people generally put they'll say something about us and it comes as a layer. So, people used to say, I was mean. You're like, oh, you so mean. Oh, okay. And pretty soon I realized, I am mean. But in my mind, my meanness isn't me. It's me being my authentic self. So sometimes I always tell people, if you don't want to know the truth, don't ask me, because I don't know how to sugarcoat it. Because if I sugarcoat it, you won't receive the message. And the divine doesn't want me to sugarcoat it for you. If you're asking me, the divine wants you to know what the problem is.
Yeah.
So don't ask me if you don't want to know, because I don't know how to sugarcoat it. So just be your authentic self. Now, those that do know about me like that, and they ask me, they already know that I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but they're asking because they want to know I'm going to be authentic with them, and I'm just going to call it like I see it. And I'm not going to, it's not always pretty, because people have done that for me as well, but it's just the way it is. That is when something hits your heart and soul and touches that sore spot in you. That's when you know they've hit it, and that's the area you need to transform.
So let's go back to the wellness and in a modern world. We're living in a fast-paced digital world filled with technology, AI, and constant distraction. How can people stay grounded?
Give yourself some breaks from the technology. I know we're all so connected. And if you're my age, we didn't have technology like this when we were growing up. You know what I'm saying? So, to get back to your youthful self and grounded self, give yourself a break from technology. You don't always have to be on your phone. You don't always have to carry your phone. You don't always have to be on that computer. Give yourself some break. Start small, 15 minutes, an hour, whatever. When you go for your lunch break, an hour. Don't be on your phone. Just take that hour and be with yourself.
Awesome. That's very good. So again, what concerns you most about the modern wellness?
Well, if I said Western medicine, it's how they treat the signs and symptoms. So the more prescription medications they can disseminate on the population, not to heal them, but to keep them in a ball and chain.
Yeah.
The more money they make, and there's no cure, right? So that's what's the most disturbing to me is, even over my 36 years of being a nurse, it's still, you go to the doctor, the first thing they want to do is give you a prescription for whatever it is, instead of trying to figure out what's causing it. Let me give you this, and we'll take care of the signs and symptoms, but we never cure what's causing it. If you got to cure what's causing it, then I wouldn't make as much money. There wouldn't be a need for you to come see me all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what's most disturbing to me.
Okay. So let's dive back to your practice. So what has been working well for you right now, and what has been frustrating in your practice?
I'm start with the most frustrating thing is people come to me, and then when I tell them what they need to do, they don't one, believe they need to do it, or two, don't think it's gonna work, or three, they get all the information and then they do nothing, and then they say, well, it didn't work, and I say, well, did you do X, Y, and Z? Well, no. Well, then how do you know it doesn't work if you don't do anything? So I think that's really frustrating for me. The other thing is, people always want you to give them the whole house for free.
Yes.
Right? But they know if they go out in the world and they go buy a house, it's not free. So why would you want me to give you the whole house for free? Because your health and well-being is the greatest asset you have.
You're right.
But when you go out in the world, you're willing to pay for stuff that can't do anything for you. You know what I'm saying? You're willing to go buy those $900 pair of red bottom shoes that aren't even comfortable. They make your feet hurt.
Honestly.
But you won't spend $50 on getting some herbs that's going to take care of your hot flashes.
Yeah, you're right. That's your frustration. What's been working well?
What's working well is just the information that people pick up out of the books I've written. And I get people that say, hey, I pick up your book, or I saw this and I wanted to reach out to you, this chapter or this page or this lesson or whatever it is, really enlightened me and woke me up, or I love the message that you share. In one of my books, it's a book where we're leaving messages to our future granddaughters, great-granddaughters that we may never meet, right? And I love the lesson you shared about X, Y, and Z in your book.
Yeah.
That will help the future female generations that may not have access to the wisdom that we share today in the way we share it. So I think that's beautiful.
Awesome. So where do you want to practice to be in the next 1 year?
My new venture is my private charitable organization, 1 Million Girls, with the goal of being able to send 1 million girls around the world to four-year universities, colleges, via scholarships, because I believe that we're wasting the beautiful wisdom that our young ladies have, and they can't access colleges for whatever reason. Financial is a big part. And so I want to release that financial barrier and allow young women around the world, of course, starting in the U.S. first, but allow these brilliant minds of young ladies around the world to be able to get that degree so that when they step out into the workplace, they have some credibility behind them with regards to the knowledge that they've acquired.
So if you have a magic wand to fix just one thing that is holding you down or slowing you back, what would that be?
The belief that women that play in a man's dominated industry don't have the skills, the ability, the tenacity, and the toughness to be successful. I'm one of those that played in a man's world. And I was taken as this cute little pretty young thing that everybody tried to hit on. But when it came to giving me business, they didn't think I had the credit. You don't know. I'm an electrical engineer. What do you mean I don't know?
Yeah.
So, that's one of the things.
After a decade of helping people transform their lives, what do you believe is the greatest key to living a truly fulfilled life?
Doing what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, and putting yourself first. So first put yourself first and then do what you want to do, how you want to do it, where you want to do it, who you want to do it with, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think
that's very great. I like that. Yeah. So if everyone listening today could make just one small change tomorrow that will dramatically improve their life, what would that change be?
I would say find out your dosha by going to Blissful Living, the number 4, theotheru.com. Find out your unique essence. When you do, it's going to open up a world of like ahas for you. That's why I do that. That's why I feel this way. Oh, this is happening, So again, you will be so amazed at all the wisdom that comes from knowing your unique essence. And remember, this is the moment of conception. So when your daddy's sperm hit your mama's egg, and that egg was like, yeah, baby, out of the 100,000 that are in here, you the one. Now you know why. Now you will have the reason behind why you do what you do and what you need to do so that it works best for you.
Okay, that's very great. So do you believe happiness is something we find or something we intentionally create, and why?
I think both. I think happiness has to be inside the person in order for them to find other happiness. If you're a person that's always doom and gloom, well, that's how you see the world. But if you're a person that's happy, or as they say, happy-go-lucky, that's how the world sees you, and that's how you see the world, and that's how things are embraced for you. So happiness has to be inside you first. And we all go through some very challenging and traumatizing things.
Yeah.
But if you can tap into that little space in you that still has that happiness, then just tap into it and then let it expand. Think about when you were a kid and you got a present for your birthday that you had wanted for so long and how happy that made you. Even if it was only for 10 minutes, it made you so happy and you felt value. And so when you tap into your happiness, that's where your true value lies within you.
Right. Thank you, Doctor, for joining us today and sharing your wisdom. One of the biggest takeaway from this conversation is that true success isn't built on wealth alone. It's built on alignment between your health, your purpose, your mindset, and your relationship and goals. When wealth, wisdom, and wellness work together, it becomes more meaningful, more fulfilling, and ultimately more bliss. To everyone listening, thank you for joining us on Talk to Phoebe podcast. I encourage everybody to go to our website and take that test as well. So thank you. Until next time, choose wellness, pursue wisdom, create abundance, and remember, the most important blissful life is awaiting for you to step into it. Thank you, Dr. Rochelle, and thank you, everybody. Bye, and have a great week. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed our time. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.